Welcome to the 11th episode of the series, Playbook for Monetizing Your Music Rights. Here we will deal with international rights. Taking your music global today, we're talking about taking your music international. For example, Nigerian music, especially Afrobeats, has exploded globally. Artists like Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, Tems, and Rema are earning millions from international markets. Their songs are played on radio stations in London, New York, Paris, Johannesburg, and everywhere in between. But here's what many artists don't realize. When your music crosses borders, you need to understand how to collect royalties internationally, how copyright works in different countries, and how to protect your rights in foreign markets. If you don't set up international collection properly, you could be leaving hundreds of thousands, even millions of naira on the table, money that's being generated by your music in countries around the world, but never making its way back to you. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how international rights work, how to collect global royalties, and how to expand your career internationally while protecting yourself legally. How does copyright works internationally? Let's start with the fundamental question. If you own copyright in Canada, does that copyright protect you internationally? The answer is yes, but it's complicated. Most countries in the world are signatories to international copyright treaties. The two most important are the Berne Convention. This treaty establishes that copyright protection in one member country is automatically recognized in all other member countries. So, if you create a song in your country that is a signatory to this convention, your copyright is automatically protected in over 180 countries that are Berne Convention members. The WIPO Copyright Treaty. This treaty, administered by the World Intellectual Property Organization, extends copyright protection to the digital environment and covers internet transmissions. This means your copyright gives you legal protection worldwide. If someone in Germany illegally downloads your song or a radio station in France plays it without a license, they're violating your copyright. But here's the key point. Having copyright protection internationally and actually collecting money from international uses are two different things. Legal protection exists automatically. Revenue collection requires you to actively register and set up collection mechanisms in foreign territories. Let's talk about international performance royalties. Remember when we discussed performance royalties in episode 5? Those apply internationally too. When your song is played on radio, television, in clubs, restaurants, or any public venue in another country, you earn performance royalties in that country. But collection works through a network of international collecting societies. Here's how it functions. Each country has its own collecting societies. In the UK, it's PRS for music. In the US, it's ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC. In France, it's SACEM. In South Africa, it's SAMRO. And so on. These societies have reciprocal agreements with each other. This means if you're registered with a COSUN or MCSN in Nigeria, and they have reciprocal agreements with foreign societies, your society should theoretically collect international royalties on your behalf and send them to you. But there are challenges. First, not all reciprocal agreements are comprehensive or efficient. Money can get lost in the system or take years to flow through. Second, in some countries, the collecting societies are still developing their international collection infrastructure. They may not be collecting as effectively in all territories as more established societies. Third, some artists find it more effective to register directly with foreign societies in key markets where their music is popular, rather than relying solely on reciprocal agreements. The solution is often to have multiple registrations, with your national society for local collection, and with major foreign societies for international territories where your music has significant presence. International neighboring rights. Neighboring rights. The rights of performers and producers when sound recordings are broadcast or publicly performed are even more complex internationally. Here's what you need to know. The United States, which is one of the largest music markets in the world, doesn't recognize full neighboring rights for foreign recordings broadcast on traditional AM/FM radio. However, they do recognize neighboring rights for digital performances. This means if your song plays on internet radio like Pandora or satellite radio like SiriusXM in the US, you're entitled to neighboring rights payments collected by SoundExchange. European countries, on the other hand, have robust neighboring rights systems. If your song is played on radio, TV, or in public venues in the UK, France, Germany, or other European nations, you earn neighboring rights as the performer or producer. In the UK, neighboring rights are collected by PPL. In Germany, it's GVL. Each country has its designated organization. To collect these international neighboring rights, you need to register with the relevant societies in each territory, or work with an international neighboring rights collection service that aggregates collection across multiple countries. Companies like Phonographic Performance Limited, PPL in the UK, or international services like Centric Music or Songtrust can help you collect neighboring rights globally. Don't ignore this revenue stream. For artists with international radio play, neighboring rights can generate substantial income. Let's turn the spotlight to international mechanical and streaming royalties. Mechanical royalties from international streaming and downloads are typically handled by your digital distributor. If you use a global distributor like DistroKid, TuneCore, or CD Baby, they deliver your music to streaming platforms worldwide and collect mechanical royalties from all territories. This is one area that's relatively straightforward for independent artists. Your distributor should be collecting streaming and download revenue from Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and other platforms regardless of where the listener is located. However, there's an additional mechanical royalty that many artists miss: the mechanical royalties from interactive streaming in the United States. In the US, there's an organization called the Mechanical Licensing Collective, MLC, that collects and distributes mechanical royalties from US-based streaming services. Even if your distributor is collecting your share, registering directly with the MLC ensures you're capturing all the mechanical royalties you're entitled to from US streams. And with the size of the US market, this can be significant money. Registration with the MLC is free. There's no reason not to do it if you have music on streaming platforms. International Publishing Administration. If you don't have a publisher, or if you want to ensure you're collecting all your international publishing income, consider working with an international publishing administrator. These are companies that specialize in registering your works with collecting societies around the world and collecting your performance, mechanical, and other publishing royalties from multiple countries. Services like Songtrust, Centric Music, TuneCore Publishing, and CD Baby Pro Publishing offer global publishing administration for a percentage of what they collect, typically 15 to 20%. Here's why this can be valuable. Instead of you having to register your songs individually with collecting societies in the UK, US, France, Germany, Japan, Australia, and dozens of other countries, the administrator does it for you. They monitor where your music is being played internationally and ensure you're collecting from every territory. They handle the complex paperwork and claim processes that vary by country. For artists whose music has international reach, a global publishing administrator can be the difference between collecting 50% of your international publishing income and collecting 95% of it. The 15 to 20% fee they charge is worth it when they're collecting money you'd otherwise never receive. Alright, let's talk about the practical steps you need to take to collect internationally. Step 1. Use a global digital distributor. Make sure your music is distributed through a service that delivers to streaming platforms worldwide. DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, Ditto Music, and others distribute globally. Verify that they're delivering to all major territories: North America, Europe, Asia, Latin America, Africa, and Oceania. Check that they're collecting mechanical royalties from all these territories and that there are no geographic exclusions in your distribution agreement. Step 2. Register with international collecting societies. For performance royalties, consider registering directly with societies in key markets where you have significant play. United States, join ASCAP, BMI, or SESAX for performance royalties. Register with Sound Exchange for digital performance neighboring rights. United Kingdom. Register with PRS for music for performance royalties. Register with PPL for neighboring rights. Other key territories. If you have significant presence in France, Germany, Canada, or other markets, research their local societies and consider direct registration. Yes, this creates administrative work. but the alternative is losing money permanently. Step 3. Register with the MLC, U.S. Mechanical Royalties. Go to themlc.com and create a free account. Register all your songs. This ensures you're collecting all mechanical royalties from U.S. streaming services. It's free, it's quick, and it can generate significant revenue if you have U.S. streaming presence. Step 4. Consider a global publishing administrator. If registering with multiple societies individually feels overwhelming, use a global publishing administrator like Songtrust, Centric, or CD Baby Pro. They register your works in over 100 countries, collect from all those territories, and consolidate payment to you. For the 15 to 20% fee, you gain peace of mind that you're collecting globally without having to manage dozens of registrations yourself. Step 5. Monitor your international presence. Use analytics tools to see where your music is being played. Spotify for Artists, Apple Music for Artists, and YouTube Analytics show you geographic data on your listeners. If you notice significant play in a particular country, prioritize registration with that country's collecting societies. Focus your efforts where your music has actual presence. Step 6. Understand international licensing for sync. If your music is used internationally in films, commercials, TV shows, or games, make sure your sync licenses specify territory. A license for local-only use should cost less than a worldwide license. If a U.S. production company wants to use your music in a show that will air globally on Netflix, negotiate appropriate fees for that global reach. Don't give worldwide rights for local market pricing. Territory matters enormously in sync licensing. Step 7. Keep detailed records. Maintain a comprehensive database of where you've registered your works and with which societies, your membership or account numbers for each organization, what territories your music is licensed in, payment schedules and contact information for each collecting society. International collection is complex. Good record keeping ensures nothing falls through the cracks. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.